Approaches to fatigue management. Fatigue management refers to the methods by which service providers and operational personnel address the safety implications of fatigue. In general, the ICAO SARP's standard and recommended practices support two distinct approaches for fatigue management. Prescriptive approach: the operator complies with prescriptive flight and duty time limits defined by the regulator and manages fatigue hazards using the SMS processes that are in place for managing other types of hazards. Fatigue Risk Management System (FRMS). The operator develops and implements a fatigue risk management system (FRMS) that is approved by the regulator. The prescriptive approach. To manage crew member fatigue, ICAO requires nations to develop regulatory limits on flight times, flight duty periods, and duty periods. These limits should be identified over specific periods, for example daily, monthly, yearly, to give crew members an adequate opportunity to recover from fatigue and to limit the buildup of transient fatigue across each duty period and the accumulation of fatigue across multiple duty periods. The objective of these prescriptive limits is to ensure that flight and cabin crew members remain sufficiently alert to be able to operate to a satisfactory level of performance and safety under all circumstances. An operation that is managed within the prescriptive flight and duty time limits should meet the following requirements. The operations manual must record the rules relating to flight time, flight duty period limitations, and rest requirements for crew members. Within the applicable regulatory limits, an operator may use more stringent limits, such as those negotiated in industrial agreements or established to manage an identified fatigue-related risk. Regulators must base their prescriptive flight and duty time limits on scientific principles, and operators should use these scientific principles in designing pairings and rosters. The operator's safety management system should include crew member fatigue as one of the hazards it manages. An appropriate level of information on fatigue management should be included in general safety training. According to ICAO standards and recommended practices, SARPs, where FRMS regulations have been established by a regulator for airline operations, the operator has three options for implementing the two different approaches to fatigue management. The operator may comply with prescriptive limitation regulations throughout all their operations. The operator may implement an FRMS that has been approved for use throughout their operations. The operator may employ a combination of the two approaches, implementing an FRMS in part of their operations, and comply with the prescriptive flight and duty time limitations in other operations. Fatigue Risk Management Systems, FRMS. FRMS is often understood to be a scheduling or rostering tool. It is actually a wider risk management concept, which incorporates all mitigation strategies, training, and education, and performance measures integrated to managing crew or operator fatigue in a manner that promotes safe operations. With a prescriptive approach, fatigue is one of the possible hazards that the SMS should consider. The service provider reacts when a fatigue hazard is identified. With FRMS, the service provider must additionally identify and assess potential fatigue risks prior to conducting operations under the FRMS, as well as identifying and assessing actual fatigue risks proactively during operations. An FRMS has 4 components, 2 of which are operationally focused and 2 which are organizationally focused, such as FRMS policy and documentation, FRMS promotion processes, FRMS processes. FRMS safety assurance processes. Operational activities in FRMS. The FRM processes form a closed loop with 1. Ongoing monitoring of fatigue levels. 2. Identification of situations where fatigue may constitute a hazard. 3. Risk assessment. 4. Introduction of additional risk mitigations when needed. The effectiveness of all current mitigations is captured in the ongoing monitoring of fatigue data, so the FRM processes form a closed loop. Following loop presents the operational activities of FRMS.